Next one is a taxonomic aids. What is the need of studying about the plants and the classification means it is useful for the development of agriculture, industries, forest and different habitations where the plants are able to survive. And not only that one, we can also know the other aspects related to the plant identification. So for the identification of the plants, we need some aids which are considered to be the taxonomic aids. So there are various types of taxonomic aids which are useful for identification. For that purpose, we have to go for the intensive field study. Intensive laboratory is needed and also the field study is needed. Then only we can go for the exact identification of the plants. For this purpose, we are using some aids which are helping in identification. We call them as a taxonomic aids. So there are various types of taxonomic aids which help in the correct identification. So here exact identification is needed so that authentic information related to the plant identification can be given. Then only we can go for the further aspects, that is nomenclature and the classification of the plants. So let us start with the various types of taxonomic aids such as herbaria, botanical gardens, flora, manuals, monographs, catalog, keys, etc. These are various types of taxonomic aids which are helping in the correct identification of the plants. Further correct identification, as we said, that intensive laboratory and the field study is very much necessary to give the authentic and the correct information related to the identification of the plants. Okay, let us start with the first one, that is herbaria or herbarium. So herbaria is nothing but the collection of the dried plant species. The collection of dried plant species is called as herbarium. So for this purpose, what we will do is, first we will collect the plant species and after collecting we press them. When we press, what happens? The plant become dry and press and dried. Once they have been dried, so they have been preserved for the future usage. So for whom it is useful, future usage means for whom it is useful means the next generation scientists or the botanical persons may use the knowledge of the plant species that have been preserved. For example, if a person is there who does not who want to know about the evolutionary things related to the plant species that is existing present. So for that, to know about the evolutionary aspect, he have to compare the characters of the present day species with the similar species which are existing long back. So the plant species which have been kept under herbaria, they are useful to compare the characters. So when we compare the characters, we can know about the evolutionary changes which are taking place in the course of evolution in the plant species. So that is useful for the future botanical scientists, and also to study about the evolution or evolutionary changes which have been taken place in the due course of process. So this is a significance related to the herbarium. And here, where does this herbarium is present and how it is preserved means, here these herbarium which have been collected, pressed and dried, they have been kept on a sheet like structure. So that is what we call it as, they have been preserved in the form of sheets. So we call them as a herbarium sheets. And what the information that will be given on the herbarium sheet means, they will give all the information like the date of collection of the plant species, the place from where it have been collected, and the person who have been collected, and also the English name of the plant along with the botanical name. Apart from this one, all the characteristic features related to the plant species will be prescribed on the herbarium sheet. This is the information related to the plant species have to be tagged or to be kept along with the herbarium sheet. So this is the way how this herbarium will be done, and all these are preserved in the form of the herbarium sheets in the desk, so which is available in the botanical gardens. So here herbarium is useful for quick referral system, or the fast reference can be done by using the herbarium. That's why we call it quick referral system. And here every country may be having their own plant species preserved in the form of herbaria, but internationally well known one collections is there, what is called as a Royal Botanical Garden. It is called RBG, which is located at Kew, England. This is a place where all the plant species which are present in this world have been preserved in the form of the herbarium. That's why we call this as a International Center for Plant Identification. So this is about the collection of the plant species, that is herbarium. And here nowadays, as the computers or the internet is very much available to every place and the global process, so what happened means instead of this collection of this plant species, they started the digital herbarium or herbaria. That is whatever the plants or directly have been kept in the normal herbarium, what they had done is they had taken the digital photographs of the plant species which are present in the herbarium, and they have been made a digital herbarium. So it is the way how this internet which is available, the internet's access or easy way of making the things. So that is by sitting in your own place, we can search the plant species which is whether it is present in the herbarium or not by using the digital herbarium, instead of going to the particular place and observing all that plant species. So the easiest way of identification by using the herbarium is a digital herbaria. So likewise, whatever the characters that are present in the normal herbaria, all the characteristic features will be available in the digital herbaria also, and making the process simple and easy. In the taxonomic aids, the next one is the botanical gardens. Here in the botanical gardens, the plants are being grown in a restricted area by providing the normal atmospheric conditions which are suitable for the growth and development of the plants. And here, as we already discussed, that the largest botanical garden is present in the Kew, England, that is called as Royal Botanical Garden. And this is the one which contains not only herbarium but also the internationally known plant species which are growing in that area. And this Royal Botanical Garden have one other special feature, that is not only having the herbarium or herbaria of all the plant species, but also they will publish journal that is called as Index Cubensis. What does this journal contains means, this Index Cubensis will publish all the new aspects or the research work which is presently or current research work which is going on in the present days. That's what all the new things which are going to be discovered will be discussed or have been published in the Index Cubensis. That is the significance of this Royal Botanical Garden. And in India also there are botanical gardens. Those are Indian Botanical Garden and National Botanical Garden. Indian Botanical Garden is present in Howrah, that is Kolkata, and National Botanical Garden is present in Lucknow. Okay. So here these are the two nationally well-known botanical gardens which are present in India, where the plants have been grown, and along with that one, the nationally known herbarium is also been preserved or present in these 2 botanical gardens. So these botanical gardens are also useful for the identification of the plant species. If a person seen a plant for the first time, so he does not have idea whether it is a new plant or the already that have been identified by some other persons. So if he reach to this Royal Botanical Garden or any other botanical garden, he come to know that whether the plant that have been observed by that particular person is a new plant species or a plant species that have been already identified by some other persons. So either by using the herbaria or by using the digital herbarium or by seeing the plants live. So this is a way how they are useful in the botanical gardens, are useful in identification of the plant species. In taxonomic aids, the next one is a museum. Generally museums are present in the schools or in the small localities where the organisms have been preserved either in the form of dry species or dry specimens, or they have been preserved in the bottles. So this is a way how these are a small collection of the individual organisms which are useful for the reference or the identification of the plants or the animals. Likewise, the schools will establish a small laboratory. In that small laboratories, they will preserve the plants either in the form of the dry specimens or the specimens which have been kept in the liquid form by using the bottles. So these are also useful for the identification of the plants, so that the students who are present in that school or the laboratory of the small school will help in identification of the plants and correlate the theory that have been studied by them in the classes. In the taxonomic aids, the next one is the keys. So keys are the characteristic features actually which are been describing the characters of the particular plant species, like the characters are nothing but the keys, and here when we are describing a plant species, so 2 characters will be given. So that's what we call it as a contrasting or contrast characters will be given. So in that contrast character, one character will be related to that plant species and other character is opposite. So one will be the similar character, one will be the opposite character, and each character is called as a lead, and both the contrasting characters in that keys is called as a couplet. Both the contrasting characters is called as couplet, and each character of that couplet is called as a lead. And here out of these 2 leads, one will be related to that plant species and other will be not related or opposite character of that plant species. And here there are 2 types of keys are there. One is called as indented keys and other is called as bracketed keys. In the indented keys, as I said that 2 contrast characters will be there. So out of these 2 contrast character, each one they have been separated, and each one out of this one is a related character, one is a opposite character. Whereas in the bracketed key, so there is no such separation. There is no separation as like in the indented keys, but each character is given some number in the form of a bracket. That is the difference that can be seen in the indented keys and the bracketed keys. So here these keys are also useful for the identification. That means some characters are related to the plant species and some opposite characters are present. So this is a way how this the characteristic features of the plants are given in the form of a keys. And where does these keys are present means these keys are present in flora. The next taxonomic key is the next taxonomic aid is the flora. Flora includes the characteristic features of a group of individual plants which help in reference and also the identification of the plant species. In this flora only we can say that when you are describing one plant, so the characters of the particular plant species will be given in the form of the keys. So this is nothing but the one of the other identification aid or taxonomic aid in the identification of the plant species. Okay, when these characters have been identified, the flora will give the actual account of habitat and distribution of the plant species. So, this is called as a flora, which is helping in identification of the plants. The next one is a manuals. Manuals give the information related to the plant species which are present in one area. That means how that plants which are present in one area related to one another, and the characteristic features how the similarity is observed between the plant species. Then monographs. Monographs give information related to any one taxa. So, here what is the difference between manuals and monographs is, manuals give the information related to the species which are present in one particular area, but here the information related to only one taxa had been given in the monographs. Next one, catalog. Actually, catalog means the list of items which are present in the herbarium or which are present in the museum. So, which gives a list of items which are going to be observed in that particular area. So, this is what the other taxonomic aid which help in the identification of the plants. So, these are various types of taxonomic aids like herbarium to the catalog which are helping in the identification of the plants.